Hello, Kodjan Tag, and welcome to Nordic Game News. I am Jacob, the program director at Nordic Game, and I'm here to bring you news about the Nordic Game Conference, but also about Nordic industry news in general. So, EVE Online. Yeah, you know, the space MMO developed by CCP Games in Iceland. Did you know that they are celebrating 20 years anniversary this year? I know, and I want to celebrate. Uh, Not least because when I started in the creating Nordic game conferences, and that is a long time ago, already back then, EVE Online was the flagship of the Nordic industry. Back then, it was like the locomotive, not only for the Icelandic game industry, but for the Nordic game industry in general, I would say. So that is why I'm extremely happy to do this interview here today with the creative director, Bergur Finnbogason.
Yeah, Bergur Finnbogason. Wow, it's super
Wow.
well done.
And Bergur, can you please start this interview by telling us who you are and what you're doing and how you're feeling today?
Well, first off, thank you for having me on the show. I'm really excited. My name is Bergur. People call me Bergur, like hamburgers, and I'm the creative director of EVE Online. I've been in this role since 2018, but I've been at CCP since 2010, and I've done various jobs here. But you know, I've been the creative caretaker of New Eden, the universe of EVE Online, now for 5 years, and it's absolutely fantastic. Yep, like you said, we're hitting our 20th birthday this May, and a lot has happened in the last 20 years. We've gone from a tiny team having not the fullest idea of what they were doing to a full-scale AAA, massively multiplayer online game that hundreds of thousands enjoy every month, and love to shoot each other in the face or build empires or crush empires or whatever you may have it. So if there's activity in EVE Online, then I'm happy.
I must admit here, Bergur, before we continue, I have never played EVE Online. Well, I have tried back in the day, and I simply felt too stupid to play it.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a stigma that the game has suffered, and especially in the past. I mean, the game has been going on for 20 years, and we've been in active development all those 20 years. And we've, even if the core DNA, the kind of the dark, gritty, cold space sci-fi DNA is still the same, if we look at it like an old house, we've swapped out most of the windows, and we've relayed the electricity, and there's new water, and there's access for newer players, and there are opportunities for shorter sessions, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, this is one of the challenges that we're constantly facing, and we have been actively working on over the last few years. So this is a story that we hear a lot. Like, people tried it 10 years ago, they tried it again 5 years ago, and they're just falling in love now with the universe and the community. And that's just part of the universe. Yeah.
So what you're saying is I should actually try to go back to it and not feeling stupid about it this time around. I will definitely do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the game is so big, it's so vast. So, and in many ways, it's impossible to know the whole game. We often laugh about it, like, you meet EVE players that have been playing the game since day one, or for 10 years or whatever. They always say like, "Oh, I'm a noob. I don't know anything about this game. I know my thing extremely well, but like that other thing, like," and that's fine. Like, EVE differs from other games in that way, that you don't necessarily, like, there isn't that diamond sword that you're trying to get to and to beat the game. It's every play has counterplay, and someone on day 3 can actually have devastating effect on the progression of the world, which is part of the excitement.
Exactly. I mean, that is the most fascinating part about it, I think. And I really would love to dive into this because I've heard so many intriguing stories of even fairy tales about what happened. I personally remembered one where Russia took over the US, but in space in EVE Online, or there were like fragment. There was a big war going on in there, and it just sounded crazy. So I think there's a lot of these stories I could imagine have been started and evolved throughout the history of EVE Online. But do you have any, stories never told before that you can reveal right now?
So one of the beautiful things in the core of the design of the game is that we're constantly trying to design for immersion. We're trying to design with the player in mind. And the beauty is that once you add the human element, there is a huge amount of unpredictability that comes in, because humans are irrational. Like, you can't really plan for someone, being an avid collector of corpses, or, you can't really plan for someone just really hating the color pink and therefore wanting to shoot everything that's pink, shit. So that's why you end up with these incredible kind of human, these astonishing human achievement, almost these kind of biblical achievements sometimes, where you have, these wild stories of people, holding a grunt for, years and years, and like taking down empires by infiltrating and working their way up, and and it's just because someone shot someone in the face 5 years ago. Today you're in a situation where like a huge war is happening. So we have these incredible stories, and like every it feels almost like every other day we hear like a wild story that you're kind of you almost can't believe is true. But my favorite of these stories are actually not necessarily the wars. It's more the human relations and kind of the human connections that happen in the game, and the friendship that are built. And there's nothing that gets me more than like going to player events, meeting players that I've met in the game, and found love, and maybe have babies now, and maybe these kids have actually started playing the game, and you're like kind of in this odd inception moment where the game is being kind of constantly being rediscovered in many ways.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, one of the key parts that you've been doing a lot in relation to the game itself is to create these fan fests, right? Where you have been inviting all the fans. So obviously, I am very keen on knowing. Now is your 20 years anniversary, and you have so many really dedicated players. Are they able to be part of the celebrations? How do you look at this celebration? Is it for the players, or is it with the players?
Uh, it's actually a great twist to the question there, Andrew. For the players or with the players, because in many ways, like, we've always developed EVE Online in many ways with the community, and that's just the only way we know how to develop the game. Of course, there's like a pendulum here. Like, sometimes we've been very involved, sometimes we've kind of strayed away a bit, and sometimes we needed to, sometimes we accidentally did that. But for the celebrations this year, I mean, definitely there are going to be some pretty epic celebrations within the game. We're right now in a really exciting kind of post-expansion period after the big expansion in November, and now we're marching towards the summer expansion. So there will be a lot of activity in game, but also we have a huge fan fest happening in September in Reykjavik. We've never sold as many tickets as this time around. I think we outsold last fan fest like within weeks, so that's pretty wild. And it's gonna be a few wild days in Reykjavik with plenty of space talks, celebrations, partying, and yeah, just hanging out. FanFest is a beautiful moment to kind of meet up, have a conversation about the game. It's awesome to see the players. It's awesome for the players to meet each other, and it's really important for us as developers on a tiny, dark, cold, windy rock in the North Atlantic to actually, this allows us to take a step back and view this amazing piece of artwork that we work on, and we get to view it through the eyes of the players, and we get to have good, helpful conversations on where we should take things and where we need to kind of put our focus to, and what things are in healthy state, and so on and so forth.
It's a brilliant idea. I think it's a very good way to get in touch with your gamers. But before that, I have to pat myself on the back, been so lucky to convince you to attend the next Nordic Game in May as a speaker. And I'm so happy. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. But I'm also wanted to, reveal a little tiny bit for our audience and people that are coming to Malmo in May. What can we expect from your talk there?
Yeah, so first off, thank you for having me in May. I'm really excited. This will actually be the first conference post the birthday that we will be speaking at. So there will be some birthday celebration hopefully in the talk. But I want to kind of dive a bit into the history of CCP. The company is formed in '97, and I want to talk a bit about like kind of our journey to this point here. The successes, some of the failures, some of the moments where we had to kind of swallow our prides and eat our hat. I think it's going to be a good, honest view on the last 25-6 years.
Yeah, and that is exactly why we are doing the Nordic Game Conference, to get talks like this that inspires, but also reveals on how was it to develop games back then, and how is it now, and how can you use this your history to create even better games. So I am so much looking forward to having you on board the speaker roster for NG23 Spring. Bergur, that was it. Thank you so much for taking your time here, and I'm so eager to meet you again in person in May.
Definitely, I can't wait to come to Malmo and share some stories with you, and hopefully have a drink or two with you and the audience.
Oh yes, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Bergur. Have a nice day.
You too.
And that was another great reason for register for NG23 Spring this upcoming May. You'll find everything you want to know about it at nordicgame.com. And thank you so much for watching this. See you soon again. Bye-bye.